Definitely followed it up with an international championship. What have we got in terms of the prizes? I see a Pheasantipty. I don't like seeing a Pheasantipty in the prizes for Ethan.
Also, 2 rare candy currently in the prize cards there for
There's the
Hermanni as
fist
well.
bump. Here is our top 4 at Birmingham Regionals. We're starting off with Ethan. This might be a great time as we see this buddy pop in to learn a bit about what this Dragapult deck does.
Yeah, you know, it revolves around Dragapult EX with that terrifying attack Phantom Dive, 200 damage into the active, then you can spread 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench. We have seen Ethan Wilde previously on stream win games only announcing that attack twice. That's how devastating it is. How do we make it even more scarier? How about you weave in some Cursed Blast from Dusclops and Dusknoir? If you use Cursed Blast from Dusclops, you KO it. Oh no. But you can put 5 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Make it even worse, evolve up into Dusknoir. Then you can spread 13 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. That right there is an absolutely ridiculous amount of damage. Bearing in mind that can help uptrade the damage from Phantom Dive from the active all the way up to 330, which is enough to KO a Charizard EX. But we are going to see Buddy Popper concluding for Dreepy ×2 and a Duskull, and it's over to Hermanni.
Yes, and Hermanni is playing the other big stage 2 kind of dragon. We've got Charizard here, and we are starting off as we see this buddy Poffin. Might be a good time to tell you a bit more about this deck. It is not a deck that really cares too much about the early game. We've got Charizard, you evolve up, you get energy. We've got this Burning Darkness attack. 180 damage for 2 energy is okay, not great. But every time your opponent takes a prize, that does 30 extra damage. And again, also plays that same Dusclops, Dusknoir line.
Yep.
So you can drop damage, but not only are you dropping damage, you are powering up Charizard's attack as you do so. And then we got a bit of Pidgeot for searching out whatever you want as you go. And if this looks a little bit familiar, well, were you watching the last game on stream? If you were, I believe this might be the exact same list that we saw from Arvin in the previous round.
If not the exact same list, and very, very similar. So yeah, both decks kind of similar in the sense that you want to get out your big, scary Stage 2 Pokemon. Obviously, Hermanni does play that Pidgeot to help keep things moving over with that quick search. Ethan will be using Recon Directive to filter cards throughout the game into his hand from the Dracloak. So while they're both similar in the fact that they both run Stage 2 attackers, they both have different ways of keeping themselves consistent. And who will be the victor? Who will secure themselves a slot in the final? Only one way to find out. That's why watching the rest of our feature match here. Bear in mind, the loser of this, their tournament ends here. Top 4 will be their best finish. Let's see how it pans out.
Top 4's a good finish, but it seems like an awful waste to get to top 4 and stop there. When's the next chance you're going to have to be in top 4 and finish that on for a win? So an Arvin gets played by Hermanni here, and you get to search an item and their tool, and look at that.
Oh,
TM
dear.
Evolution and our old friend Secret Box, the Ace Spec. You have to discard 3 cards from your hand, not ideal, but you get an item and a supporter and a tool and a stadium card. If it's a type of trainer, you can go and get one of them. And here we go with a lot more searching.
And remember, the Technical Machine Evolution can be used here for Hermanni, so it can end the turn with a Pidgeot and a Dusclops.
Pidgeotto.
Or a Charmeleon. Pidgeotto, I should say. I apologize. Now, that would be effective. You
That
get
would be amazing.
Goodness gracious. But, or a Charmeleon if you can get another Charmander down. There's that Mesagoza. We saw Mesagoza be so impactful in that last game. Will Hermanni put it down and opt to use it here? Look at the ridiculous value from this Arvin. This Arvin has turned into a whole cornucopia of cards here.
It has turned into, hopefully, everything Hermanni needs. Now, right now, if you've got enough basics, you save them as it goes for next turn. This is perfect.
Nice.
Jet Energy into the active. Now, there is something you need, apparently. So we can go for Buddy Pop in here, and then we can flip for the Mesagoza afterwards. But this is going to allow you to TM Evolution, evolving those bench Pokemon. And Pheasantipty really not in much danger here. By this point, well, we're open deck list, aren't we? So Hermanni knows for a fact Ethan's not playing any rare candy, so he knows there is not going to be a big Dragapult Phantom Dive coming down, which makes you more confident. We're trying to point out this weekend, of it being the first weekend of open deck lists, trying to kind of show these situations where open deck list makes a real difference. This is one of those situations.
Worth noting, we did need to see Mesagoza come down to replace that jamming tower if we did want your Technical Machine evolution, and we do see a heads on the Mesagoza. That means any Pokemon Hermanni can grab from the deck now. Gonna grab the Pidgeot, basically saying if you can't drop my hand, I will have quick search next turn.
Well, is there a rare candy in hand? 'Cause if there isn't, I can tell you one of the things that's getting TM evolutioned up. It's going to be Pidgey into Pidgeotto, and with that Charmander. And Ethan's looking at that going, well, I know you've already got the Pidgeot. You kind of told me that. But the fun thing is, even if your hand gets disrupted, you've still got a 50-50 chance with the Mesagoza of getting it straight back.
If the stadium hangs around, so a very strong first turn there for Hermanni. Going to pass it over to Ethan, who is going to start the turn off with Mesagoza. And it looks like that was a heads as well.
If he's grabbing his deck, it's either a heads or something's gone terribly wrong. He's searching that Dracloak there, getting a chance to have a look through his deck as well. But that Dracloak is firstly going to get him one step closer to a Dragapult, and secondly, open up that Recon Directive ability. Look at two cards on the top of your deck. One goes to hand, and one goes to the bottom of said deck.
That's the really interesting and great thing about Dragapult, is that you can use those stage ones effectively. Reminds me of Refinement Curlier back from Gardevoir back in the day, or even Frogadier with Water Duplicate going all the way back to Greninja Break.
I feel old.
When you can have those stage ones be helpful, it just keeps you ticking over nicely. Oh, Iono! There goes that Pidgeot.
Yeah, you had to do that. And you know, on the one hand, Hermanni was absolutely kind of telegraphing this, but you might as well make your opponent have to play the Iono. Means they're not playing something like a Lily's Encouragement, so Lily's Determination, sorry. So in a way, it's almost like it's worth searching out the Pidgeot to force your opponent to play the stadium they support, or they might not have wanted to. Why are we oohing?
It's a very interesting Recon Directive. I think it was Hilda and Ultra Ball, both very good cards. Hilda can obviously find you a lot of good stuff. It's like it's gonna grab the Hilda, yeah. Like, let you grab Neo Upper Energy. Let you grab any energy card, actually, I should say, and Evolution Pokemon. Here comes a Nest Ball as well. I imagine it's going to be another Dreepy, perhaps.
No.
Lati, okay. Oh, of course, yeah. Want to try and get the old Budu. Interested in combination with the Iono. Budu can obviously item lock with Itchy Pollen, but it looks like we're going to go for Latias. Do we have another way to grab the Budu then?
Yeah, we got a second Nest Ball.
There we go.
So this is going to get the Budu. Latias will give free retreat to the Dreepy, because even though you could manually retreat by discarding the energy, that is not something you really want to do here, because if you do that, then you're further away from the energy. I like having the option to Hilda. We're getting rid of the Hilda with an Ultra Ball. That Recon Directive meant nothing.
Well, we have to try and replace that stadium, that Mesagoza, so keep and hold of that jamming tower. Otherwise, you know, you could just Mesagoza back into Pidgeot. So you have to hold on to that. So I think now that is why we have to. Well, I guess at the very least, Recon Directive gave you an extra card to play, to discard for the Ultra Ball.
Yeah, but it makes me sad. You go and search out a good card, and then it just gets discarded with Ultra Ball. It's, well, never mind, eh? Doesn't matter. You can still get the Budu up. You can still get some Itchy Pollen. First, we're going to Recon Directive, and I think it probably is worth replacing that Mesagoza with the Jamming Tower, because otherwise, like you say, your opponent, if they flip ahead, they will just go straight away to go and get that. That Pidgeot, we're not doing it, though.
Okay.
That does open the door for Hermanni to flip heads and go, yay, Pidgeot!
Well, Charizard X is currently in the hand, so we can...
Yay, Charizard!
That's a very good. There it is, that Charizard Infernal Rain activation. Search your deck for 3 basic fire energy. Attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. We still haven't seen Mesagoza. This could be a very strong turn too for Hermanni if you can establish Pidgeot and Charizard. Remember that Charizard X Burning Darkness attack. Ooh, Cruel Arrow potentially being eyed up here.
We've not attached for turn yet, so Cruel Arrow. We have now, and Cruel Arrow is absolutely on board. Lily's Determination is going to search for, well, not search for. You're going to shove your hand into your deck. You've not taken any prizes. You're going to get 8 cards. So you're going to be able to go after the bench here. You've got to imagine it's probably going to be one of the Dracloak with an energy on. Try and make things hard for your opponent. You could go after the Duskull if you wanted, but if we can get a Pidgeot as well, give that quick search potential. I mean, that's, I think you said it yourself, a very strong turn.
That Cruel Arrow, love to see that, doing 100 damage to any one of your opponent's Pokemon, including the bench. Let's see what Lily's Determination can grab. Can we going to see Pidgeot? The answer is no.
Yes, that's a final card is right there in his hand.
Incredible. Here comes Mesagoza as well. And that's a head.
Oh, my word.
Goodness gracious me, Hermanni.
Got to be a Dusclops here. That gets you one step closer to the Dustoir. This is a definition of a nice little bonus because you had Pidgeot in your hand anyway. You could actually here have... Oh, he's got Dustoir in hand. So here you can go for a Charmeleon, and what you're doing is firstly building up all these stage 2s on your bench, which is crucial, but you're not even having to rare candy, you're doing it all manually, and Cruel Arrow is about to start getting a lot of fun.
Hermanni is definitely in the driver's seat here. This is what Dragapult doesn't want to see. These sort of stage 2s, you know, where you slow evolve up through them, taking away all these low hit point Pokemon rather fast.
Now, there is a point, and that is that the Pheasant Dipsy does have a damage on.
It does.
Which means Dragapult will be able to get a very easy return KO, which is a little bit sad, I grant you.
But, I mean, Ethan only has a 2-card hand, though. How likely is it that you can piece together, you know,
we need some energy
dive?
Energy and Dragapult. You're right. That is, and there's going to be, hopefully, you would imagine, one Recon Directive only. Oh, hopefully from Hermanni's side of the board. So that's going to be super awkward. And also, even if you do, your opponent takes 2 prizes. Well, now your Charizard's getting up to potential Dragapult KOing territory, especially when combined with them Ghosts. It is a Dragapult taken down Dracloak with that Cruel Arrow, and Ethan's got 1 turn to evolve, because if you don't, I know what's going to happen next turn.
Going to be another Cruel Arrow. Looks like I know was... Oh, here we go. Mesagoza. This could be a rather impactful flip. Uh-oh. Not today. Not yet. There's a staging replacement. And it is going to be Buddy Puff, and I think it's going to have to be the Ino back up to 6. I mean, it's not a completely unheard of situation to grab your Dragapult and an energy off that Ino, but I tell you what, if you don't, this game could get out of hand.
Absolutely could. So we Ino here, we see 6. We have 1 Recon Directive. There is a possibility of drawing a Dragapult and getting a Dracloak and getting a second Recon Directive off the bench Streepy. So you could be seeing as many as 10 cards here. But you're right, you need to see the combo. If you do, you're in a pretty good position. If you don't, you are in a pretty bad place.
All right, let's have a look. 6 cards. Night Stretcher. Oh, hold on.
Do we have anything in the discard that we got with Night Stretcher?
I don't think so, you know. Still early doors, isn't it? Here's a Recon Directive. Ultra Ball, good start. Oh, and the Dragapult, okay. But I don't think I saw energy in that hand. Is there energy in the discard pile for night? Oh, there would be off the Cruel Arrow KO, right?
And it's the right energy, because there was different energy on...
Oh, no, was it a Luminous attached to that Dracloak, though?
Oh,
I think it might have been.
Oh, that would be bad. And actually, if you went after Luminous Energy to turn off Night Stretcher, that is an incredible heads-up play.
Oh, there is a fire energy
There is one in there, we're good.
Okay.
I thought there was. So we go to Dusclops.
Okay, so that was a very good Ino there for sure.
Now we go up into Dragapult. Now we can rescue Stretcher to go and get the fire energy, which is needed for that Dragapult to attack. But Doo's got free retreat, so we can go ahead and use that Phantom Dive. You can KO. Oh, there's a Duskull on the bench, actually. That seems like a nice place to put 6 damage counters.
That seems pretty helpful. Cannot lie about that.
Could be a free prize turn. Should be a free prize turn, I think.
So who needs it? That's a free prize turn the old-fashioned way. Who needs Mega Evolution KO?
Or...
Okay.
No, it's just a Badoo.
Okay.
Set up for a free prize turn. Instead went, you know what? I'm not set up enough, and I do not want to give you items back. I'm just going to Itchy Pollen.
Yeah, I don't mind it, because if you was to commit that Dragapult EX, then you got, you know, Rare Candy, Dust Noir, Burning Darkness slapped. That would be rather scary. So I don't mind even taking that turn off. That was a very good reload turn. Is over to Hermanni now. Remember, is still item lock thanks to that Itchy Pollen Badoo. Let's see what he can do. Here is the Pidgeot Quick Search. What do you think he's going to try and pull off this turn?
I mean, first things first, I really want to evolve that Duskull on the bench, so I'm not giving my opponent an easy third prize from a, the Dragapult.
Yeah.
I then want to get the Pheasant Dipsy out of the active so I can get Charizard up. You can just retreat for that one, though, so that's nice and easy. Looks like we're eyeing up a Super Rod here. Depends what's in the discard, but if there's enough in the discard, that might be a nice way to start reloading.
I mean, we can't obviously play that Super Rod this turn because of Itchy Pollen.
Of course, I'm talking, yeah, absolutely. For the future turns, could absolutely be good. And you've got to imagine Itchy Pollen's not going to last very much longer.
Yeah.
We're in the kind of the last days, the final days of Itchy Pollen.
The final season of Itchy Pollen for this game.
Yeah, it's getting cancelled after this.
Looks like Counter Catcher was taken off that quick search, it looks like. I believe that was a Counter Catcher. Oh, no, changing the mind.
Oh, we're going back.
Boss's orders. Oh, that can be used.
That absolutely can be used.
Is this not in hand? No. Arvin, tool card and item.
Okay,
there comes
so
the Super Rod.
Does want the Super Rod, but grabbing it off the Arvin instead. Not going and getting a tool. Again, these items can't be played now, but you know Badoo is going to run out. Itchy Pollen is going to run out, and then you've got a handful of stuff that you can. There is an argument here. Are you trying to make Ethan go and grab an INO over basically giving Ethan a choice? You can play your Lily, but I've got to cool stuff in my hand that I want, or you can give yourself 6 cards rather than 8 by playing an INO. Crawl Arrow takes out the Dusclops. I love that play, because the Dreepy, there's 2 of them, neither of them's a Dratloak. You're not getting rid of any energy, but that Dusclops could have been really useful for jumping up and making sure you get over that 330 barrier for Charizard.
Yeah, the map works out fantastic. There's a back-to-back INO from Ethan, though. Whatever Hermanni's trying to piece together, he's trying to make it as hard as possible. 6 fresh cards for Ethan. I imagine, is this the turn where we are going to see a Phantom Dive? My Counter Catcher is live.
No Dratloak, though. You really want to start evolving some of those bench Dreepy. I'm not seeing any Dratloak. Oh, there is an Ultra Ball.
There is an Ultra Ball, but that's kind of costly to use, though.
Yeah. I mean, you can probably get rid of the Buddy Poffin because you've got a lot of basics.
Counter Catcher, Dusclops.
And again, they're just copying each other. They both know how annoying Dusclops can be, so let's grab that active. Oh, you can get the Dusclops and the Duskull. You were thinking the same thing here,
Yeah,
Shay.
we were, weren't we?
Shut them ghosts right down. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Ethan definitely isn't. It looks like there's the Ultra Ball, and that would be huge because currently, as it stands, the only way Hermanni could uptrade and one-hit KO the Dragapult EX would be with some Curse Blast shenanigans, and Ethan can remove both of those right now.
And we get that Dratloak from the Ultra Ball. This is one of the things we really needed to see from Ethan this term, making sure that we can use more recon directives, see some more cards, draw some more cards. So that's going to be incredibly useful to him there. Did have to get rid of a Dragapult, but we've got things like Night Stretcher and Super Rod. So, oh no, just Night Stretcher, but still, that can come back. Here is, oh, speaking of which, there's a Night Stretcher and an Ultra Ball.
There we go.
And can we Night Stretcher for a Dracloak here? I think we can.
I think we can. That would be rather helpful.
There we go. Double Dracloak. See, that makes me happy.
There we go. So we spoke about reloading the Dracloaks, and he's done very well there. Oh, near up energy.
Oh,
we'll
nice.
Take that. Thank you very much. That's the A-Spec provided any 2 types of energy if attached to a stage 2. But there's a big Phantom Dive for a 2-prize turn, but more equally, it is removing all Curse Blast threats for Ethan. His first 2 prize cards of the game, and has taken a Blood Moon Ursaluna and the boss's orders from the prize cards.
And this is what I said before about Hermanni really on that last turn. And I know, you know, you didn't have any Dusclops left in the deck, but trying to evolve that Duskull really would have been a great thing to do to turn that play off. Wasn't possible, unfortunately, with the hand that he had. Now we see a Buddy Poffin. No, we're not just going to get 2 Duskull back, are we? That would be...
I think we might be.
Oh, we might be.
Can't KO on both with the Phantom Dive.
I mean, you can if you gust with that boss's orders you just took off the prizes.
Point, actually. Yeah, that's a good point. But you're going to have to start dealing with these high hit point Pokemon at some point.
No, you don't. You actually don't. Because what you can do...
I guess you got Pheasant Dipty got taken damage. Yeah, good point.
So you KO both of those Duskull, KO the Pheasant Dipty, and you're just like, oh, what Charizard? You don't have any Charizard.
Just playing musical chairs with that Charizard. Say, I'm not dealing with that. Thank you very much.
I don't want to KO it, and you can't make me.
Okay, flip the script being used there. I think I saw a Counter Catcher was one of the cards. And Professor Toro, here's a quick search. What, all bosses or orders? Gonna take that. You know, Manny is still, you know, knocking about. Thing is, we cannot get round. We cannot one-hit KO that Dragapult. So I wonder if we're just gonna go after the Latias here and just say, right, let's race to the end of this game.
I do like the idea of taking out Latias, and maybe there's a world in which you can strand something in the active and start using Pheasant Dipty. There's just nothing really good to strand. Right now, we do bring it up. Remember, it is weak to darkness, so Charizard doesn't just get the KO. It kind of hilariously gets the KO. I think it's 480 damage it's doing now.
It's more than enough to KO it twice. There's the KO. Hermanni's 2 prize cards away from winning this game. Is over to Ethan. What can he do?
Well, right now, I think Dragapult to take out the Duskull is what we're looking for. Because what you do not want to happen, right now, the only way Hermanni wins a game is by KOing that Dragapult.
Yep.
The only way you do that is with you need a Dusclops. I think would Dusclops alone do it? I need to do some maths here, Shay.
Go on, do some maths, then.
So that would be free prize taken. That'd be 270, 320. That would be perfect. So Dusclops onto the Dragapult would then allow the KO be exactly 320. So you have to get rid of those Duskull. That is why Hermanni was willing to put them down even with a low HP, because one Dusclops onto Dragapult plus Charizard then hitting for 270 with free prizes taken is 320. That is the perfect number to get the KO.
Okay, well, those Duskull will be... Ooh, to a turn attached in a fire. Okay, so Neo Upper Energy still preserved. Don't mind it, of course. Don't need it right now. Only works when attached to a Stage 2 Pokemon, of course. So it looks like... Oh, the boss orders is there. We know that. It was taken from the prizes. There it is. Is it going to be the... It is.
It has to be. And you've got free retreat on the Badoo. You've got the energy on the Dragapult. Ethan's got everything he needs on the board right now. This will be the double KO. And now we're asking Hermanni to try and stretch to KO this or double KO. No, there's no double KO. The deck doesn't do that.
No, we can't. Well,
no.
not with Curse Blast. Not available. We can't.
That's my point.
Counter Catch is not live. Defiance Band is not live because they're tied on prize cards here.
Yeah, you even could have Curse Blaster Badoo and KO'd a Dracloak, for instance, but that's not an option.
Hold on a second. There is the Briar, but we need to get the Dragapult out of the active.
Well, Counter Catcher's not live, and
not.
Boss's orders is a supporter.
No, like Escape Wave's not in format, of course. So yeah, we're not going to be able to do that. Quick Search. What could we work towards here from Hermanni? Let's see what the Quick Search takes.
If there's an option, you can grab it with Quick Search. I can tell you that much.
It looks like Charizard EX was taken. I guess you could... I guess you could Professor Choro Pheasantipity. Remove the easy prize card.
That would be...
two prize cards, I should say.
Yeah, Turo onto Pheasantipity is something I would absolutely be looking for. Yeah, Briar has to be active, knocked out by a Terra. So with no gusting available, it is just not on the board, unfortunately. This would be the perfect Briar time.
It would be.
But you'd need some gusting. And unfortunately, that is not happening. If Ethan was on one prize remaining, there's your game. But he's not.
Oh, it looks like we have a match result from our other top 4 match. Ovin currently 1 game up against Emma Hagen. Emma Hagen did win her top 8 match coming back from a reverse sweep as well, so keep an eye on that. We will feed out more results as we get them. Looks like we are going to see the Charizard EX activation of the Inferno. And there is the Professor Toro scenario, Ross. No easy prize cards now.
And this is going to get awkward. Now we're kind of in a 2-hit KO race. The problem is Hermanni's getting the first hit on a Dragapult, so then it is over to Ethan to try and prevent the KO. Has Ethan used his Professor Turex? He does have one.
I don't think he has.
Because right now, Hermanni is in the driver's seat. We're in a 2-hit KO battle, and Hermanni got the first hit. If, however, we can see a Turo from Ethan...
It's in hand, we can see it.
Then we just flip it.
Yeah.
Now, Ethan is actually in the driver's seat because he gets the first hit. Oh, easy decision there, getting that rescue that night stretcher. There is a second Dracloak with a second recon directive. Lily and a boss, you're not playing either of those. Maybe save the boss for next turn,
Or you take the boss, though, yeah, just in case. You'd rather have it than not.
There might be a boss in hand, though.
You can never have too many boss. I guess if you could leave it in the deck, then in case of Ino, try and draw back into it.
No, there isn't. We take the boss. Alrighty then. So, has to be a Turo this turn. You have to heal. You have to heal. Surely you have to heal.
Yeah, we've got the energy in hand Luminous. There's Professor Choro.
Yeah, it has to be
done. Oh, my goodness. Now we're playing musical chairs with this damage. Hot Potato, I don't want it. There is the Neo Upper Energy attachment. There's Professor Choro going to remove all that damage. That is a big supporter card there for this situation. Going to promote the Dracloak. We know Dragapult X is in hand now. And now the Pendulum of Power swings back over to Ethan.
Yeah, great play there from Ethan. Exactly what was needed. And now it's again, we're in the same situation we were. Both players are trying a 2-hit KO. The big difference here is now essentially Ethan gets the first hit. So he is very much in the driver's seat. 6 damage counters. Oh, there's nowhere too relevant to put them, annoyingly.
Now, what can Hermanni do here? This is interesting.
Both players have been running away from those ghosts all game, getting them off the board, making sure their opponent cannot take cheeky extra prizes. Using one of those Dusclops right now would be so much fun, allowing you to kind of get over the hump and get that Dragapult off the bench, but it's not there.
So we're going for the iron off the quick. So it's basically, I would imagine, then going to be a pay retreat, attack with the other Charizard Ino, and hope that Ethan cannot reload that benched Dracloak to attack again.
And you really do not want to take a single prizer here, because taking a single prize would turn on Ethan's counter catcher, giving far more options for gusting for the win. So you don't want to take out a single prizer. You want to play keep away and try and two-hit KO that Dragapult. So yeah, I know your opponent down to 2. Get that Charizard out the active and attack with a fresh one and hope your opponent gives you one more turn. Ethan is going to shuffle his hand, put it at the bottom of his deck. He's going to draw cards. This was an argument to not take the boss's orders last time. Leave it in the deck. Boss for game.
Okay.
I can't see those cards.
I can't see those cards.
They could be anything.
Keep us on suspense. There is the pay retreat. There is the burning darkness. Oh, wow. Here we go. What is that? 6, 12, and 8 to 43. Oh, I know.
280.
280, I should say. So I was getting... Oh, I got 2 uses of the recon directive.
So 300. 300 damage.
Lily's Determination and Buddy's Buddy Pop. That is a lot. Yeah, you are correct. Only 20 off the KO there. Defiance Band, if it was live, would have been nice. It would have been a game.
Would have been game. It's not looking good for Ethan at this point. Again, he could basically copy what Hermanni did. The problem is you need to have something to attack with when you... I suppose you don't really.
You don't need to.
You could just retreat and then do it next turn.
Well,
but
this
you don't
is going to shuffle the deck, this Buddy Poffin. So whatever was put to the bottom that I know will get liberated.
And then we recon directive and cross our fingers super hard.
Yeah,
if it's a boss, it's game.
Oh, true.
So
asking the judge shuffle there as well. Ethan knows.
I love a good judge shuffle. I do not trust my own shuffling.
Boy.
And then if I don't draw it, I can blame the judge.
Okay, big recon directive then. Boss's orders, Giovanni. Will we see you?
No.
No. The Cursed Blasters. So it's going to have to be a pay retreat. Oh, it's just going to be the concession from Ethan. Hermanni will take game 1 here in our top 4 feature match. Only 1 win away from booking himself a ticket in the final.
And very well done. Ethan knew the writing was on the wall there. He had to get an attack off this turn. He had to get the gusting. He knew that Hermanni's board was too good. And of course, there's no retreating away. There's a Pidgeot down there.
Yeah,
that was going to go and grab the gusting. There was no playing keep away. Here we go as a reminder then of that first game. And this was a back and forth down to the wire game. Early on, we see Hermanni there actually using Cruel Arrow on the Pheasant Dipty to take out a Dracloak, and then had so much fun doing that, did it again on the Dusclops. This was a real theme of game 1, both players not letting their opponent have access to those ghosts. We drag up the Latias and get the easy KO with Charizard there, taking that off of the board. And then we got down to 2 prizes remaining. It was a 2-hit KO battle. Who can 2-hit KO their opponent first? Hermanni got the first hit, but then Ethan got the Professor Turo scenario. And then Hermanni got a hit after retreating, and Ethan needed the boss's orders this turn. He didn't get it, so we go to game 2.
Double Pidgeot and the secret box!
Hermanni has not had a lot of luck with prizes this tournament on stream, Shay. But we're off with game 2.
Wowzers, that could be game deciding. But it looks like we are getting to our game 2 here. Remember, the winner of this game, well, if Hermanni wins this game, he'll be in the final. Ethan, this is a non-negotiable, my friend. You need to win this one if you want to keep in this tournament and try and become the Birmingham Regional Champion. Hermanni is kicking us off, though, with the Buddy Pop, and we'll get to consult the deck. And as you say, Hermanni has had to navigate some awkward prizing before on stream. We've seen him prizing double Charizard. We haven't seen it, well, at least as far as I'm aware, we haven't seen him prize double Pidgeot, though. How will he get out of this one?
It just means you have to play so much more carefully. Your resources become so much more crucial, because how many times did we say this stream so far? But he's got Pidgeot, of course he's got it. We literally just said it about that final turn, why Ethan could not play Keep Away because his opponent had Pidgeot. Now, with no access to Pidgeot, essentially what you have to do is just be so much more careful in everything that you do, because you can't just leave a Pidgeotto sitting on the bench for when you draw the Pidgeot. What's he even going to do about that? He's going to go right down.
He's going to Phantom Dive that straight to the discard pile is what he would do. So let's see what Hermanni can do. And I think it's going to be very obvious as well. The way Hermanni plays, Even's going to work out, wait a minute, you're not privatizing Pidgey or Pidgeotto here. Could that tell me that your Pidgeot surprise? Now, looking at the prize cost, traditionally players take them bottom to top. It's not a given, not guaranteed. And one of them is at the bottom. So if you take a cheeky early prize card, maybe you could take the Pidgeot. No guarantees, though. But yeah, that's not really what you want when you're one win away from the final.
It is also worth noting, Ethan has prized one of his 2 Dragapult and 2 of his 3 Night Stretcher, which is what you use to recover your Dragapult. So if Ethan's first Dragapult does go down, that is going to make things very, very awkward. There will be 1 item card in the entire deck that will then allow him access to it. So I'm going to keep an eye on.
Something I want to keep an eye on is that free retreat Charmander, thanks to his ability, Agile, and then you can put Mischievous, Lock, Klefki in the active. That's going to turn off that Skyliner ability, meaning that Latias is going to be stuck there. And it looks like we're going to see a turn attachment to the active Klefki as well. Now, bear in mind, Pidgey's currently in hand, and Hermanni has chosen not to bench it.
And that tells us that he knows. Now, here's what you can do, is basically sit there with Klefki, leave Latias in the active, because it doesn't have the Skyliner ability, and just wait till you got Charizard, and then super easy KO to take the first 2 prizes and put yourself in a great position. One of those 2 prizes should then be the Pidgeot, but that is a bad starter for Ethan. And the problem is, I'm looking at his deck list, there is 1 Professor Turo scenario. You don't play much switching when you can rely on Latias. It's one or t'other. And unfortunately, he went for Latias.
I wonder if we are seeing the Budu. Does he have a wait? Is Choro in hand? Luminous Energy? Attach? The way he's playing makes me feel as if it might. Well, doesn't look like it, actually.
Doesn't look like it at all.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. When you play Latias, you don't play that many switching cards. You think, well, I've got Skyline. I don't need to. It's so efficient giving all your basic Pokemon a free retreat cards. I don't need switching cards. However, in these sort of tricky scenarios, we saw Klefki used in Hermanni's last feature match, had its fingerprints all over the game, and here it is being an absolute irritant again.
It is absolutely. We do see a boss's
orders. Now you can retreat with the Skyliner because it's back online. Yeah,
of course. Klefki, remember, only works when it is active. You don't really want to burn a boss's early in the game, but you kind of have to get it out the active, and then it turns it back on. Here's a Mesagosa, comes through with a Tails. So that means if Ethan flips heads, that stadium card's doing more for him than his opponent who played it.
That is the scary thing about Mesagoza. It can just say no to you. There's the Pidgey. Bear in mind, Hermanni did actually top deck the Pidgeotto, so whatever the Pidgeotto had Pidgey been down last turn. But now this Charmander hasn't got a free retreat. You would have to turn attach retreat to get Klefki back into the active. What else is in that hand, though? Oh, no. Ross.
It's not good, is it?
No other playables. I mean, you can use that energy to discard your Mesagoza if you really wanted to, but you obviously leave it in play. So it's just going to be the path. Ethan has bought himself a turn here. I mean, that hand's not too great either, apart from that Iono, though. Is that Iono?
I must confess, I didn't see. We have an Ultra Ball coming down here that is at least going to give a Dracloak for a Recon directive, which will give him 1 extra card from a choice of 2 from the top of his deck. So that's going to give him something to play with here at least.
What else? Yeah. Could be a big... Well, there's only, what, 2 cards left in hand there? I think one... Neo Upper is
an Iono, yeah.
Okay. Here's Recon Directive use number 1. Counter Catcher and Iono again.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're going to play an Iono anyway. Well, I suppose it matters for what's on the bottom of your deck, doesn't it?
And that is the interesting thing about Iono, is that it lets you manipulate the bottom of your deck. And the things you have to think about here is that Iono going to be both players get a hand refresh up to 6. Remember, Hermanni's hand wasn't that great either. That Pidgeotto has been sent to the bottom of the deck now, though. There's another GP. Do we see energy? The energy is in hand. We're going to see Mesagoza first, though.
Tails from both players. Now, Irvin was telling me there was a game he played earlier where there was like 13 heads in a row between both players.
13.
Everyone's just searching for whatever they want from Mesagoza, which I think sounds fair.
Really does. And it looks like we are going to see the Itchy Pollen. Probably the best stadium in the game if you're flipping 13 heads in a row, I can tell you that.
Well, that was both players. It was very even. I like it when it's even.
Here we go. Mezagoza again. Have the gates of Mezagoza been open? The answer is yes. Hermanni can search his deck.
Run up those stairs. Make sure you take some water. Stop halfway up. There's a lot of them. But then when you get to the top, you get whatever Pokemon it is you want.
Let's see. Could be Iron Up. The Dusclops. Interesting. Curse Blast online. That's only for 5 damage counters, though. It's not the big one. Not yet. What else is in the hand? Arvin. Okay. Technical Machine Evolution could be getting eyed up here, then.
I like that one. That would be very nice for kind of getting your Pokemon rolling. There's an argument you got some stage 1s, but you don't have enough stage 1s here. Also worth noting, you don't really need to rush into a Dusknoir right now, because Ethan doesn't have a Dragapult rolling. You really want the Dusknoir at the point he's got the Dragapult.
And it looks like we have another result from our other top 4 match. Emma Hagen evens it up, so they're going to a game 3 over there on the other side of the hall. Oh, Emma, now she did reverse sweep in her top 8 match. Can she do it again? When we find out, we'll try and tell you. But for now, it is 1-1 over on the other side of the bracket.
It is unfortunately not settled yet. Both players, well, I suppose it's a good thing. Both players still in it. Maybe it's a good thing.
I'm about to say, yeah.
Either way, we've got TM Evolution coming down, and that is going to allow an evolution of 2 benched Pokemon. You got to imagine it will be a Charmander into a Charmeleon. You could actually go Dusknoir here.
You could.
Or you could go Pidgeotto with Pidgeot's prized. No, all double Charm, a little bit cheeky.
You have to imagine that would give Ethan all the information.
And there are 2 Charmeleon in the deck.
That would be all the information. I'd say you're not even bothering at all with Pidgeotto, but it looks like just debating what exactly to do here. Oh no, it's going to be a Dusclops into a Dusknoir and then a Charmeleon on the damaged Charmander.
This is what I would personally have gone for. Now, you have to go for the damaged Charmander, so it's not in range of residual damage from a Phantom Dive.
Yep.
But now, we've seen that Ethan doesn't want to be running into those Dusknoir. But I've got 130 HP. It's actually really annoying to deal with. Oh, 160, my apologies.
Even more, yeah.
It's really annoying to deal with, so it's much more likely to work. It also means that if Ethan evolves into a Dragapult, that means Hermanni's got a built-in answer to it. You can Curse Blast and then KO with the Charizard. That makes a huge difference. It was never an option in Game 1. Might be an option here. Mezagoza flip is... I don't know.
And that was a tail, so those gates have been closed on Ethan.
Yeah. Hermanni ran through, slammed him in Ethan's face. It's my stadium, only I get to use it. You can do the same thing, but you have to use an Ultra Ball and discard 2 cards from your hand, which doesn't feel anywhere near as nice.
I wonder if we're going to start, I'm going to say we're going to start developing the Dragapult now. Looks like eyeing it up. I mean, it does have the requisite energy, so we can start firing off Phantom Dives. I'd love to see what else is in Ethan's hand here. Boss's orders would be fantastic, of course, letting you don't really want to waste 200 damage into a little Klefki, of course.
No.
So let's see what Ethan has.
And I don't think Klefki is annoying you enough. This isn't like we saw against the Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan, where it was ruining your whole deck.
Oh, Boss Orders is in hand, sorry, Ross, it is.
Oh,
so
there it
go.
is. And like I say, it's hard to deal with, but if you can, you want to. So now we KO, and presumably the Pidgey as well, take 2 prizes, and potentially turn off any possibility of that Pidgeot coming out. +1 onto the Klefki now leaves that with 60 HP remaining.
Yep.
That is in range of residual damage from a Phantom Dive, and Klefki has no known evolutions.
So that what you're saying is that Klefki's stuck unless Professor Churro comes out to liberate it. But that'd be a rather weak use, I think, at least at this point in the game. Let's see what Hermanni can do. Ethan taking his first 2 prize cards here, absolutely removing all Curse Blast threat. Back over to the Mezagoza, though. What we're going to see? The answer is heads. Oh, dear. So what else? We see, Lily's Determination is currently still alive for the full maximum effectiveness of 8. Buddy Puffin, Ultra Ball. Can use his items now. Has been under Itchy Pollen lock. No longer the case. Here is Arvin.
Items are on. we could potentially get 8 with Lily. Well, obviously not. We're going for an Arvin here. And hopefully you're going to be able to get towards something. You really need to start attacking with a Charizard, and it needs to be this turn. Mezagosa, I believe, is still an option. You can still
used it already.
Oh, we used it already. My apologies.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to find a way towards something. I mean, if you're 2 prizes down and you're starting to use TM Evolution now, let's hope that's just deck thinning. You do not want to be there. It's too late in the game.
Is that Ultra Ball fodder? Is there an Ultra Ball in hand? I'm not sure there is, you know. Maybe trying to Super back in the Cursed Blasters and Evolution and back up, perhaps. Does seem a bit weak.
It's not the best plan I've ever heard, but it might be the best plan available. We are going to play that Super Odd. That's going to get free in combination of Pokemon and Basic Energy from discard pile back into your deck. And it does look like we are just going Duskull, Dusclops, and a basic Fire Energy.
You have to keep an eye on those basic energy in the deck. For Infernal Rain, you do need to keep them in the deck. They cannot be your hand or the discard pile. Oh, there is an Ultra Ball. I apologize. It is that Crown Zenith
Okay,
artwork.
It is Ultra Ball fodder. That makes me feel a lot better. But the problem is you can't even really bench a Duskull right now, because if you bench it, it can just be KO'd by Phantom Dive. So it turns into a really awkward situation where you want to use it, but...
Well, you could bench 2 at the same time. I mean, obviously, one would get KO'd, but you can't get rid of both of them unless you use boss's orders. But then this Charizard, I imagine, will just be still cutting about. You have to deal with that eventually. Although I guess Ethan in the first game really didn't bother with a Charizard much, did he? So...
He did not. He didn't need to. We are eyeing up a Duskull and a Tatsugiri here. I know it's a Pidgey and a Duskull we are eyeing up with the... Okay.
Here we go.
So basically saying, look, you can get Pidgey or you can get Duskull, but you can't get them both. Here's Infernal Rain coming down, getting that energy, making it rain in a very different way. And now we can retreat into Charizard and start our big attacks. Oh, second Duskull, and even a counter catcher onto a Dreepy.
This might take a Pidgeot from the prize cards here, you know. 50% chance if you take it from the bottom to top. There is the Burning Darkness. Here we go. Oh, he
missed
did
it.
Not take the Pidgeot.
Missed it, unfortunately. Did not get what you wanted off of that. The Ultra Ball instead. Ethan here. I mean, Gusting would be great. Boss's orders would be so good. There's so many little Pokemon to KO.
I tell you what, though, Ethan hasn't got a lot of draw power on the board now. No access to Recon Directive, of course. And that hand doesn't look that great. I saw Pressatorio scenario. That's not helpful. Here's Mezagosa. Tails again. Yeah, what have we got in that hand? Was that...
There's a Lily's Determination, which would get 6 at this point.
Yeah, it's not... Okay, to be fair, it's not too bad, actually.
Yeah, but it means no boss's orders here.
And that means you would have to be forced to punch into the Charizard. I mean, it's not too bad. You know, there's no Charmeleon developed on the bench.
Oh, it's not too bad. But my issue here is that you can get either of the Duskull or the Klefki, which you'll save for later, let's face it, or the Pidgey with the residual damage from Phantom Dive.
True.
But I want to get 2 of them, Shay, not just 1.
I want to win the game faster.
Yeah, frankly.
And there is the Lilies, okay.
6 new cards and locked in now. Counter Catcher is not live. You're ahead on prizes. You can't play boss. So now you're going to hit into the Charizard and KO one of those bench Pokemon. And is Hermanni playing the Pidgey as a little bit of a feint here, going, yeah, it can't evolve anyway. Go ahead and KO it. Is it a trap?
I'm sure these players make the fantastic read. I'm sure Ethan has already realised you haven't been prioritising Pidgey much, so you must have them prized. You could be thinking, maybe he took it out the prize cards, actually. These are the reads that these top players make when we listen to them on player interviews, the way they look and interact with the game, nothing goes past them. So I'm sure you're right, that could be a feint from Hermanni.
Well, let's go and have a look.
Duskull. Buddy Poff, that's not too bad, actually.
Nest Ball is... No, I'm invented a Nest Ball, but there is a Buddy Poffin, and there is another Dreepy. So this can go and get some basic Pokemon, start setting up quite nicely. Dreepy put to the front here. Are we just going to go 2 more Dreepy, potentially setting up for an army of Dracloak? Oh, Duskull instead here.
I think it's got to be, you have to be willing to, uptrade through a Charizard at some point. I like having a threat, at least keep your opponent honest. If there is no Duskull, Hermanni knows you can never hit 330.
Well, there is a nice option here that you hit the Charizard for 200, KO one of those little bench Pokemon, and then if you hit... I didn't play Candy. I lied to you. Ignore me. But you could potentially go Dusclops next turn, and then and then gust around the Charizard, and then KO it the 2 turns time. taking next turn off to KO something else.
He did just KO the Pidgey, so the Feign on the Pidgey maybe has done its job. 200 damage into the active, and it looks like Ethan did take the Hilda, I believe, from the prize card. Yep, 3 prize cards remaining for Ethan. Hermanni is on 5. What can he do? There's Lilies.
There is actually an easy prize map here. We don't need to worry about the Curse Blast or anything in 2 turns' time. If you can KO the Charizard, the Klefki, there's 3 prizes. You win.
There you go. And that Klefki, as you did say, is going to be stuck there outside of Professor Churro, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. That is a heavily damaged Charizard, and that is a damaged Klefki. Here is the Lily's determination. Will only get 6, I say only, 6 cards there for Hermanni.
Dusclops is a pretty big deal here. Right now, Charizard is hitting 270. Dusclops would then guarantee a KO. You don't need Dusknoir. Dusclops would get the KO, and Ethan doesn't play Rare Candy, and there's no Dracloak on the board.
And Hermanni knows this as well.
Open deck list.
Open deck list. Here's going to be a big coin flip then. And it looks like a heads. He's picking up the deck.
Okay, so Dusclops here. That means you can go and get a KO on that active Charizard, and that means that you will be able to fit, well, put even in a horrible position.
Dusclops is in hand, so this Mesogoza can grab something else.
Nice.
So it could be eyeing up Fez and or Charizard EX.
I mean, honestly, you've got what you need. Everything else now is a nice little bonus. Your opponent took a prize. Might as well have an extra 3 cards in hand from Pheasantipity. The only thing you need this turn is Dusclops, but I would like to work towards getting another Charizard. A fresh Charizard.
An undamaged Charizard.
I was literally going to follow up with that. Good work.
There is the Ultra Ball for the Charizard, so I imagine we would have a Rare Candy in hand or a Charmeleon. You can sort of slow roll your way there. But this looks like this is what Hermanni needs. The only awkward thing about Hermanni's turn, I feel like here, he is on that odd prize map. So if you did KO the Dragapult and then you KO, let's say like a Latias, you are still 1 prize card away. But I think that's the sort of problems you will take right now just to stay in the game. Right
now, it's not about prize racing for Hermanni. It is about resource denial. If you can take out this Dragapult, essentially next turn just turns into, I want to make sure whatever you're ready to attack with, I take out.
There we go, Rare Candy, Charizard, Infernal Ray. Its energy isn't as important. Actually, hasn't got any basic energy in the deck. Keep an eye on that one. But we'll get to just consult the deck anyway. But that was what we needed. We did say we wanted a fresh, clean, undamaged Charizard.
I did want that.
Done that.
Now for Ethan's turn, he's going to be in such an awkward position here, but he essentially has to evolve up both his Dreepy and get...
Ooh,
what we seeing?
Wait a second. If you did use Curse Blast here, that opens up Briar, right? On your next turn, because Ethan will be on 2 prize cards.
That does potentially open up Briar. Yes, it does.
Keep an eye on that one. So bear in mind that awkward prize map could get a bit dicey. We did see Curse Blast into the active, though. Ooh, this is scary times, scary times.
Well, your KO Charizard go down to 3 prize cards remaining. There would have to be, the problem is there'd have to be a 2-prizer in the active in order for that to work. You can still get the KO, but essentially a Dragapult, you need another Dusclops. And yes, the ruling is if you play Briar and then go below 2 prizes, Briar does still work. Here goes a KO on Dragapult. There is a chance for Hermanni to win next turn. Right now, Ethan needs to try and deny that. So what do you need to do? Evolve Dreepy into Dracloak and fix your energy. And hope. It's getting awkward.
It is getting awkward. Keep those fingers crossed. Hilda is in the hand, but I think you kind of need to weave in Iono here just to keep Hermanni honest. Has promoted the Buddha, also has a free retreat cost on its own and a free retreat cost thanks to Skyline. I love to see that. But what do we exactly? We need to just start evolving up a little bit. No Rare Candy means there is no catapulting yourself back into a Phantom Dive via Neo Upper Energy. Here is a Mesogoza. That is a Tails.
That is unfortunate. What you need to do here is hope Hermanni doesn't have a 3 prize turn, which you could deny by just leaving Badu in the active. You could guarantee Hermanni doesn't win the game.
Yes.
So what you really need to do is evolve both of your Dreepy and then make sure you've got an energy on both of them or Neo Upper Energy ready to go. I.e., set yourself up so that if Hermanni KOs a Dreepy, you can still have a Dragapult next turn. Hermanni has to play Briar and KO a 2-prize Pokemon in order to win the game next turn. Counter Catcher will not be active. So basically, all you need to do here, if you're Ethan, is make sure you don't leave a 2-prizer in the active, because Dusclops and Charizard could then KO with Briar. Leave a 1-prizer in the active, evolve your Dreepy on the bench, and then hope you can get one more turn to maybe finish off next time.
I think Counter Catcher will be live, right? Hermanni's on 3 prizes, Ethan is on 2.
Oh, he is.
So you
So
can
Counter
go
Catcher, yes.
Counter Catcher Briar is live right now.
Yes, it absolutely is. My apologies. I still think you need to leave a single prizer in the active to force that extra part.
Of course, yeah.
And you need Dusclops as well. Dusclops will then get the KO, and you will win the game on Dragapult.
There is a night stretcher for the Dracloak.
Although obviously with Counter Catch, you go after Latias and you wouldn't need the Dusclops.
Yeah. There is the Recon Directive, Boss's Orders, Psychic Energy. Boss's Orders could make life a little bit awkward. We know that there's not much energy left in the deck, or at least basic energy off that Infernal Rain. Jet's energy is still live, but without Pidgeot, you know, you can't just pluck these answers out as and when you need them.
No, it's not ideal, but it might be the best you've got. The problem I'm seeing here is there's only one Dracloak, so even if you don't have Briar, you can just Gust and KO the Dracloak.
True.
Here's Boss onto a Klefki. Just again, summing in the active. Badu is going to Item Lock. Now, that turns off Counter Catcher. So that does turn off
it does
the possibility. Hermanni cannot win this turn. He needs Briar and Gusting onto the Latias. Not going to work. You cannot play 2 supporters. You cannot play items. Emma Hagen is in the final of Birmingham Regionals. The reverse sweep, as you like to call it. Oyvind will not be defending his Birmingham title. Top 4, excellent finish. But Emma and Flareon are waiting in the final for whoever can finish off this matchup.
Back over here, congratulations to Emma, who will be joining her. That is a Tails on Mezagoza. I think he has Boss's Orders, hasn't got the energy to get out the active, though. You'd love to just Boss's Orders, Dracloak, and announce Burning Darkness. But it looks like all going to be... Okay, going to lock... Oh, this is interesting, because that's turned off Skyliner, of course. What can Ethan... Is Professor Churro in hand?
Now, this opens up just Briar next turn for the win.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Here is the Recon Directive. There's Mr. Churro. Not even going to look at the second card.
Didn't even look at the second card. He got exactly what he wanted. And if you see your opponent not even look, you're like, oh, he got Turo.
Yeah, he got the good.
Like, Hermanni knows that was a Professor Turo.
What a fantastic, the perfect scenario, you could argue, for that. Here's the Mezagoza. This could find another Recon Directive 2.
It is ahead, so that's going to go and get another Dracloak, which is going to be wonderful here. Could go and get a Dusclops to work towards... Because, again, Dusknoir at this point would actually win the game for Ethan. Dusknoir would just KO the Charizard and win the game.
Yes. I wonder if... Just trying to think here. What do you go for here? Because oh no, you can't play the Hilda because you have to play the Professor Toro. Yeah. I
honestly, Dusclops.
Dusclops?
I think...
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I would go for Dusclops. I think maybe Dracloak is actually correct. But if I go for Dusclops, I'm just like, if I get Dusknoir next turn, I win the game guaranteed. I don't have to muck about Gusting the Charizard. I literally just need a Stage 2 Pokemon. And Mezagoza is in play. So if I flip heads on Mezagoza next turn, I just win the game. So I'd go for Dusclops. I think Dracloak is probably the safer, better play. I'd go Dusclops.
There is the Dracloak going to be used. This is where this finds the Jamming Tower. Who's going to replace the Mezagoza? It looks like, well, perhaps you would imagine if you would take it. I don't know what Pokemon Hermanni is sort of really digging for here, but I guess your Curse Blasters perhaps. But we are going to replace that stadium with a Jamming Tower. No tools are no longer have any effect. Here's a Buddy Poffin as well. I'm going to shuffle the deck. I imagine, yep, this isn't going to find anything.
Well, Hermanni does play Rare Candy, so there is a possibility of just Rare Candy into Dusknoir, KO a one prizer on the bench, and then KO Latias for the win. So certainly turning off that or making that more difficult. Good thing to do. Professor Turo has to be played here. Then you put the Badu in the active. And again, Hermanni can't win the game this turn.
Nope, no Briar 2 prizer shenanigans because there is no 2 prizer.
Well, you can still Briar and KO Badu for 2 prizes and make it easy next turn. Oh, no. Okay, no, there is. There isn't now. There was a super awkward play where you could Candy Dusknoir, KO Dracloak, Briar, KO Badu.
Yeah, I mean, that would get there.
You would have to play the Briar before, obviously, Curse Blasting, but it would have been awkward, but it would have been possible.
With that Lily That is no longer possible. This is ridiculously close here, folks. Who will be joining Emma Hagen in the final here in Birmingham? Will it be Ethan? Will it be Hermanni? Ethan needs to win this game to have a chance. Hermanni just needs to take three more prize cards. Let's have a look. Jet Energy. Okay.
That's going to allow a
counter catcher. I was going to say would have been live. Itchy Pollen, no longer live. Hermanni, head in the hands, has to work out what is the best way for him to navigate out of this.
I mean, fresh Charizard. At this point, I just want to take a prize.
You have to just make it as hard as possible, right?
Being on free prizes is so annoying. And if you take a prize here, you can Briar and KO a single prize Pokemon for 2 prizes. So honestly, at this point, I just want to take a prize. 2 prizes is so much easier to navigate than free.
Here is the Jet Energy Tatsuguri in the active. Attract customers. Look at top 5. 6 cards of your deck, sorry. Grab a supporter. Oh, Professor Choro. That could pick up the damage. Charizard next turn, of course.
Next turn.
Ooh.
I think that's a really good place. Honestly, here, I want to KO the Badoo. I'm down to 2 prizes. Next turn, I can Turo the Charizard and play defense. Or, because again, I know my opponent hasn't got the big one-hit potential with the Dusclops. A Dust Noir, or I can Briar for the win, or I can potentially Gust for the win if there's a 2 prizer at any point. Like, my options are far more open at that point. But I do want to KO the Badoo here.
We are going to then pay retreat of that Jet Energy. Promote the big, bad, scary, undamaged, clean Charizard EX. Big Burning Darkness here. Going to send that Buddha to the discard pile. Hermanni's 2 prize cards away. It's going to be over to Ethan.
Oh, he's got Rare Candy Secret Box in hand. That is going to make Dust Noir quite easy to get hold of next turn. So Dust Noir to KO something on the bench and then KO the active. Hermanni probably has game in hand next turn.
I mean, Hilda can obviously catapult you into the next Dragapult.
Oh, or Secret Box for Briar would also do it. Point is, Hermanni's hand is good.
I mean, Ethan does have Ino in hand, does have a multitude of options. There is Recon Directive. Counter Catcher obviously is not live right now. There is Dracloak. 1 and 2. Now, you could use Dusclops to activate your Dust Noir. I mean, your Counter Catcher, I should say. Do we... Is Dust... No, we haven't got a way to Phantom Dive currently in hand. Wow, that would have been clutch.
The problem is leaving Hermanni on 1 prize remaining.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, way too scary, way too many options. 2 Charizard running around. Don't know how there's even space for them both, but apparently there is.
Running around.
Or probably flying more.
What a majestic sight that would be.
I'd be terrified, mate. But yeah, you have to INO here. You look at your opponent's hand, you see how many outs they've got. You have to INO.
Yeah, just consulting the discard piles here. This is extremely close. What a nail biter, folks.
Both players could realistically win this game. It could honestly go either way at this point. Ethan.
Ooh, going for the Curse Blast.
Oh, this is dicey. On to...
Pheasantipity.
Okay, so what you're doing here is you're opening up Counter Catcher.
Yep.
You are going to Counter Catcher the Pheasantipity into the active.
And hope that Ino gives you energy plus Dragapult.
You have to have energy Dragapult off this.
Here we go.
Bearing in mind, you've used your Recon Directives.
These next 2 cards have to be, well, Night Stretcher or Dragapult EX plus energy, Luminous or Neo Upper.
It's a Pheasantipity, and an Ino was a prize taken last turn. It was off the Badoo.
It was.
So 3 more cards to go. I'm invested.
Nespal.
Luminous. Energy. Ooh. And another energy. I don't think there's enough. What can a Nespal get us towards, though?
Not a lot, to be honest with you.
A Moltres, apparently. That's not going to make... Wait, how much damage does Moltres do? It doesn't do enough, does
110, right? 20 plus 90?
Yeah, 110, that puts up to 160. Another Dusclops would, well, give your opponent a win, but theoretically, get yourself over the line. Dust Noir plus Moltres would have actually done it. But that's a moot point at this stage. It doesn't do it. I don't know what we can do here. Now, it's Ethan that replaced the Mesagosa. If he hadn't replaced the Mesagosa, he could be flipping here, and a hedge would give the Dragapult.
That is true.
And he's got the energy in hand, so he'd have a 50-50 chance of winning. It's a moot point. There is no Mesagosa right now. What can we even... I mean, I suppose you just hit and
Dragon
hope.
Headbutt. It's going to be Dragon Headbutt. Can Hermanni maneuver Pheasantipity out the way after the INO to 1? Here we go.
Any energy, any
Riot,
switching?
no energy. There's nothing. It's going to be the pass.
Oh, he's passing over to Ethan. Ethan is drawing in the upper energy.
Is this game? Yeah, it's with the Moltres.
Moltres takes the KO, and Ethan evens it up at 1 game apiece. We got a game free, Shay.
Wow, the Moltres coming in clutch. Probably not for this matchup, but that efficiency with the fighting wings. And now we're going to a game 3, a win or go home scenario. Who will be joining Emma? We're about to find out. Let's take a look at this replay.
This replay, this was a fun game, a real back and forth nail biter. We do see the KO here onto that Dust Noir. Once again, Ethan trying to play around that Curse Blast as much as he can. Double KO there as well. Then we hit into this Charizard, and that damage would stay there for a very, 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 very long time. Then we get a bit more damage, an extra KO, and we're stuck at 2 prizes. We boss up the Klefki because we run out of Dragapult. We play Jamming Tower to get rid of the Mezagosa, and now it's just down to Badoo. Hermanni has out after out, but every out is an awkward combination. It never comes. We hit with Dragapult. If Hermanni can get out the active, he can win this game, but he can't get out the active, and it's a Moltres, which actually ends up coming up and taking the win. Who saw that coming at the start of the game?
I did not. Let's look at these prize cards here going to game 3. Seems about fair. There is no, access to Pidgeot and all that jazz. So here we go. Game 3, the winner of this will advance to the Birmingham Regional Championship final to compete for the title of champion. $10,000 and an automatic invitation to the World Championships in San Francisco. Ethan is starting us off.
He is. We definitely picked the best top 4 game to pop onto the stream. Shout out to whoever made that decision. It wasn't me. I was busy off doing something else. Ethan gets a Dreepy and a Badoo down onto the bench with a Duskull in the active. So obviously going first, you're not going to be Itchy Pollinating, but Dreepy with an energy. Honestly, Dreepy with an energy is all you need going first as a Dragapult player.
Whoa, what is in? Okay, there's a lead determination in that hand. I was about to say that hand saw a lot of energy, but here is an Artisan. This is going to be Hermanni's first time to search the deck here, work out those prize cards. Now, I feel as if Hermanni was rather unlucky, obviously, to prize those. Well, A-Spec and Pidgeot has access to them now. So I think we're going to see a game where both players are firing off on all cylinders. And who will be the victor?
Yeah, Hermanni's looking through his deck, being like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
I don't have horrendous prizes.
There we go.
Like, I've got both Charizard, I've got both Pidgeot, I've got my A-Spec. All my prizes are like one-offs, or, singular prizes that I've got spares of in the deck. What's going on here? The answer is it's game 3 to decide who goes into the final, Hermanni. We've made it nice and easy for both of you.
There we go, checking everything there. I tell you what, that last game was so intense looking back. We had like Briar potential, we had the Professor Church to remove the Latias. Both players had to just take a deep breath and compose themselves here for a game 3.
Yeah, here's the problem though. I just had a quick look at the clock. 13 minutes remaining. We've not got a lot of time. Now, we're on 75 minutes here in top 4. We're an hour in, and we've gone through 2 games. So if these games are as long as the other 2, it's going to come down to tiebreakers. The first tiebreaker, the most important one, is prizes taken. So early prizes is going to be very important. Could this affect Curse Blasting?
Yeah, it makes it really interesting, the effective use of Curse Blast. It also means, does that change your play style if you start thinking about target? Do you start, Ethan doesn't play rare candidates. I can't really turbo out and start firing off Phantom Dimes early. Hermanni does and can present a higher hit point board if you can evolve up into your Pidgeots and things like this. So that will be interesting. For now, I've got 12 minutes before we start worrying about that. And I believe if both players are tied on prizes, then it's next player to take a prize, correct?
It is indeed. Or the next player to achieve a win condition or take a prize.
Okay.
So it could also be benching or decking out or things of that nature. Well, decking out.
Does that fail to attract customers?
Whoa, you never fail to attract customers. What's that Tatsugiri done to put off every customer there? Well, if nothing else, we do at least have a Lily's Determination to go and grab 8 to get 8 cards. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We are not there yet, but it is something we need to bear in mind. Right now, Hermanni, they're playing Rare Candy. Ethan is not playing Rare Candy. So take this turn with items. Badu hasn't Itchy Pollen. It couldn't. See what you can do here to try and turbo as much as you can. And you know what's good for turboing?
What's that?
TM Evolution.
It really is. However, I want to draw attention. This is a 50 hit point Pidgey, so you could just Curse Blast it into it off a Dusclops and remove it instantly from play. It's a lot of energy. TM Evolution found! No, wait, Charmander? Charmander, where are you?
Where you gone, Charmander?
Oh, you can't TM Evolution Tatsugiri. Oh, no. Cool. It's got to be cool for family then, surely. What is that? Oh, it's an Ultra Ball. Okay. Oh, got a bit close there. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be the greatest.
There's
TM
still an argument that Call for
there.
Family is just a better option to get 2 more basics out. Do you want 1 Pokemon evolved, or do you want 3 basics there ready to evolve next turn?
Wow, yeah, that was an unfortunate. Lily's there for 8. Not even finding it. Artisan has been used, of course. So he's going to find, well, it has to be Charmander, surely.
But imagine having no Buddy Poffin in your opening hand and playing a Lilies for 8 and still not having any of your 4 copies of Buddy Poffin. That's not great, Shay.
Are we seeing the Ultra Ball for a Pidgey here? So then you could TM Evolution to Pidgeotto. It looks like we might be seeing that, you know. Really valuing. I guess if you have Pidgeot, you can try and catapult yourself with rare candy. It looks like, yeah, well, Ultra Ball for Pidgeotto. So I imagine then Ultra Ball will find Charmander, TM Evolution, Charmeleon.
Quite possibly.
I don't mind that because you are probably going to get hit with Itchy Pollen next turn. So if you grab Pidgeot, and it's going to be Cool Family.
Yeah, I did think Call for Family was a better option here. Just now you got the Pidgeotto to evolve, which is going to evolve. You know for a fact it's going to evolve. Yeah. And then there's even a small chance of Rare Candy Pidgeot next turn if everything goes your way. Energy on the Duskull, but that's really just going to be for retreating. Artisan is going to go and get another bench Pokemon. It is going to be a second Dreepy, and you are just going to retreat and end up Itchy Pollening here after, obviously, the Lilies. But with 9.5 minutes remaining on the clock, you can't Itchy Pollen forever, because if you're blocking items and your opponent's like, cool, KO Badu, well, that's putting you behind on the tiebreakers, and in Game 3, it's very, very relevant. We can't tie in top 4. One of these people has to go to the final.
No, Emma can't just be sitting there twiddling her thumb. She needs an opponent for the next one.
I think she'd be delighted if no one turned up and we just gave her the win. That's not how we do things.
That is not how we do things. So there's the lead. Worth noting, remember, Hermanni does have the TM Evolution in hand, so, you know, if Itchy Pollen, if nothing else happens, you can just use that to evolve up 2 of your Pokemon. Let's see what the Lily, I think we saw 1 Dracloak. No, Dreepy. There is 1 Dracloak.
There is.
Dusclops as well, so you can pay, retreat, then evolve up, of course. Here is the Recon Directive 1 and 2. Ultra Ball Energy. It's probably Ultra Ball, I'd
I see a Dust Noir. Is there a Dusclops as well?
There is a Dusclops. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so
Let's have a look. Yeah, but there's a furthest card on the left. We are going to see the pay retreat. There is the Badu.
I love the idea of this thing. You can dust 1 next turn if you like. And again, Curse Blast is awkward at this stage, but just make sure you're trading in your favor.
You're going to use it now to KO Pidgey, it looks like. It has only got 50 hit points. I did say this before.
And then the energy is taken off of the board.
No.
Okay.
It's going to play a little bit slow. I mean, you could do that. It is over to Hermanni now. Clef Key.
Well, Hermanni's only real attacker most of the time is Charizard, so if you're thinking your opponent's going to TM Evolution into a Charmeleon, Dust Noir, get the Charmeleon. That could be fun.
That is true. That is true, actually.
That's what I'd be thinking here. I'd be thinking, well, why would you put an energy if you weren't thinking of TM Evolutioning?
So there is a Jet Energy Tatsugiri active again. Attract customers. Can't go 0 for 2, surely. I don't know. Now, that could be good. He isn't to know that there is obviously a Dust Noir in hand, but that would obviously remove it. So let's see what he can do here. I think you probably, maybe you can always attach your TM Evolution, then play the Iron to reset both players' hands.
Yeah, absolutely. That might be the play. And again, it's all with the reads, isn't it? But maybe you saw your opponent go Dusclops and you tried to use it but didn't. So you think, well, why wouldn't they use it? Oh, maybe they got a Dust Noir ready to go. Whether it was predicted or not, it's going to the bottom of the deck. Ino is going to give both players a new hand of 6 cards. And now we are going to have a quick look. We got a Duskull, which is nice. We got a Latias, Buddy Poffin. What are you seeing from Hermanni?
I see 1 Pidgeot. Hasn't drawn to both of them, so you can still do it. I see a lot of Pokemon filling up. It's probably what you want when you get under Itchy Pod unlock, right? So it looks like Artisan is going to be used. They're going to grab a Duskull. There could be a world in which you TM Evolution into Dusclops, perhaps. I imagine you always get the Pidgeot out here, right? That you kind of have to do that, I would imagine.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Pokemon at hand. There's actually a Dusknoir. So, oh, wow, there's a lot of options here for the next turn, funnily enough.
And I think you have to evolve the Duskull here because there is a possibility of a Dragapult attacking next turn with a Psychic Energy and an Evolution. So you do not, especially when time is running out,
yeah, true.
You do not want to give your opponent an easy prize to take. That is what can lose you on the prize count.
No, it is going to be the Pidgeotto and the this is interesting, isn't it? Charmander and the Pidgeot. I can see both sides here, right? You kind of want to guarantee the Pidgeot. You don't want it to get boss KO'd. But then you're right, you don't want to give up easy prize cards either. It's just a tough situation, isn't it?
It really is. There is the Pidgeot, though. Now, the Duskull is just sitting there. So this is the option for this. This is the opening for Ethan. If you can KO the Tatsugiri and then go for the Duskull on the bench, you'll be up by 2 prizes. You could even then use Dusknoir potentially. Oh, no, there's nothing. Okay. I'm just trying to think if there's any way to take 3 prizes here. You would need a Dusknoir to take 3 prizes.
I mean, I think is possible, to be honest with you. It has everything you need in hand right now, Ultra Ball and Energy, so you can start using Phantom Dive. Opted to get rid of the Hilda, so that would tell me, yeah, the hand must be perfectly sufficient in what he wants to do. Ultra Ball, getting rid of Latios and Buddy Poffin. No easy prize cards for you. Latias sent to the discard pile. I imagine this is going to find Dragapult EX.
You'd think Dragapult would come first. I'd love to see a Dusknoir here. Dusknoir, and then you basically take out, you take out the Duskull, so that Curse Blast isn't coming down. You take out the Charmeleon, making that really awkward to get hold of. But right now, or
you can Curse Blast, activate your Counter Catcher as well.
Yeah,
right?
And then you can get the Charmeleon and leave 5 damage counters. Oh, and actually, no.
Well, you thought you were going to reach into Pidgeot.
I was just seeing if you could bring Pidgeot down to 200, but you can't. What you could do is do it into, say, a Charmander or a Pidgey and just really threaten an easy KO next turn. It is into the Charmander.
Going to remove both the Charmander, Charmeleon threat, it looks like then.
I love this. Yeah, and I think that is what you do. You KO the Charmeleon, you then drop 2 damage counters onto the Charmander, so take all the attackers away, and you don't KO the Duskull or the Pidgey, but you do drop a bunch of damage down.
Here comes the Ino. Obviously, that's going to give Hermanni a 5-card hand after that Curse Blast use. But yeah, going to remove all the sort of Charizard threats here, I would imagine. Basically saying, as time ticking down, your best attack is going to be Blustery Wind. That's probably not going to be enough to catapult you into the lead. Yeah,
I really like what Ethan's doing here. Basically saying, Curse Blast is something I've clearly been avoiding all game, and I'd love to avoid it again. But you know what I'd rather avoid?
What's that?
Charizard.
I think that seems like a pretty good thing to do when your opponent's playing a Charizard EX deck and you're 1 win away from being in the final of a regional championship. We are going to see Ultra Ball concluding for a Dracloak. There's going to be another use of Recon Directive currently live. Ethan Wilde currently piecing together an absolutely mammoth turn here. That Hilda and the Counter Catcher, both of which are useful. So we are going to take Hilda this time. Remember, Hilda can find any evolution Pokemon and an energy card.
Yeah, absolutely can. There's a jamming tower. I'm just thinking about the rest of the damage counters. I'm thinking maybe 1 on Tatsugiri to leave it on 60 and 3 on the Pidgey to leave it on 60 if it evolves. But no, instead going on to the Pidgeot here, making that much easier to KO in the future. The important thing, Charmander gone.
Yep.
Charmeleon gone. Attackers, Pidgeot.
Blustery Wind, 120.
It's not great into a Dragapult EX, frankly.
Even with Dusknoir support, what is that? Just over 200-ish, 250. I mean, it's not quite, where we need to be. Here is an attract customers. I don't know.
I mean, you can double Blustery Wind over 2 turns with a Dusknoir to do it.
You could.
Doesn't seem like the most efficient way to take prizes. Might be, given Hermanni's board, unfortunately, the best option. But it's not something I'd be relishing, frankly.
No, and the scary thing is now, of course, with a Duskull down, you can't just put down 1 Charmander. It's not safe from that Phantom Dive threat. It really isn't.
You have to try and double Charmander if at all possible. Don't know whether it is at all possible, but that's something you want to be doing if you can.
Wow, looks like Fez and Dippy's been either pass another Pokemon that's quite easy to get KO'd. I think the Halucha was in the prize cards for Ethan, but I think he took it.
It's not in there anymore.
So you can fly an entry, boss's orders KO that as well.
Yep.
There's an Arno. That's going to make life a bit harder for Ethan. Reset a hand down to 4. Hermanni will get 5. Hasn't used Quick Search yet. But with the bench space currently now, won't be able to go double Charmander, actually.
Nope.
So I wonder what's going through his head. What is he going to try and do? There's a flip the script. Draw 3, 2, and a 3rd. Does still have Quick Search available.
And this is the big problem. You really need to be trying to set up some kind of really good attacker. We got 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining. Ethan is up by 1 prize.
I just realised 2 Charmander effectively got KO'd last turn, right? And the 3rd one's in the prizes. Needs to actually Night Stretcher or Super Rod to get the Charmander back. Even.
There's only 3 in the deck. You're absolutely right, Shay. There's none in the deck right now. They're in the discard or in the prizes. Countercatcher onto a Dracloak. This is just a way to take a prize with Pidgeot. And frankly, with 50 seconds left, that's where we are. Just take prizes. Now, oh, is there a way to Dusclops KO the Pidgeot here? Take 2 prizes. That would leave Ethan on 4 taken, Hermanni on 3 taken, going into the final game, assuming time is called on Ethan's turn. So, that's what I'd be looking at here. Because if Ethan doesn't take a KO this turn, and Hermanni takes a 1 prize KO on his final turn, that would leave him ahead on prizes as time expires. Ethan needs to take a prize this turn badly.
I tell you what, that hand doesn't really support it. This might have to be for a Fez, you know.
Fez is in the discard pile.
Oh, sorry, of course, yeah, it is. Curse Blast, let's have a think. Oh, that does good.
This is how you do it. You Curse Blast into the Pidgeot, like you said. KO with a Dragapult. Then Ethan has taken 4 prizes. Hermanni has taken 3. That forces Hermanni to KO a 1 prize Pokemon, which is the Dreepy or the Bidoof, just to stay in the game. But then it goes over to Ethan's turn on sudden death. KO anything to win the game. So this sets up Ethan very much in the driver's seat. I don't see any way Hermanni can get a KO onto that Dragapult from here.
No.
So at this point, you need to KO something on the bench and hope Ethan whiffs. Ethan goes up. This time has been called. Ethan is ahead by 1 prize. By 1 prize here?
Well, that was a 3 prize turn, right? KO's Pidgeot and then...
Oh, and on the bench as well.
Yeah, of course.
There it is. Ethan is going to go into the final to play against Emma Hagen. 3 prizes is too much to overcome. Ethan, you're in the final. Can you get your first win here?
Well, it's going to be only 1 best of 3 away, doing that in fantastic fashion there. Congratulations to Ethan as he comes out of the headset to a roar from the crowd. Hold your head up high, my friend. 1 best of 3 away from becoming a champion.